Yeah, I don't really do the whole karma thing, but I just kept thinking about this question over and over, and I thought, I've never heard it on a CD, and every week I get a huge CD pack. So I thought, maybe I should ask it. But on the way over here this morning, I heard, at the end of one of your CDs, it's an older one that I've gone back to. You had this huge list of things to get into the vortex, and I thought, well, I've done all of those.
Keep doing them.
What do I need to do to get into the vortex?
Before you go there, and we want to go there with you, we want to wrap something up that you were just talking about, and that is that when you understand that the universe is responding to your vibration, so what's manifesting is an indicator of what you've got going on, then it's helpful to pay attention to what's going on and to acknowledge that I am the creator of it, regardless of whether it pleases you or doesn't please you. What happens to a lot of people, and the reason that things like a sort of screwy version of karma, or all kinds of screwy versions of what man calls God, or of what man refers to as heaven, or life before this or life after this. There are so many really distorted beliefs that man is holding. But the primary reason for almost all of those is that when you stand in a place living something that doesn't make sense to you, then you try to fashion a story to explain it. In other words, if you've been taught that these are the rules, and that if you keep these rules, you will thrive. So you keep those rules, you try to do it as best you can to the letter of the law, but you don't thrive. Then your questioning mind says, what am I missing? And if your logic says, well, wait, you can't be missing anything, because when you were little, they said, go to church, and you did. And the church said, do these things, and you did. And the church says, don't do those things, and you didn't. So in your way of thinking, you've done everything right, and yet you're still not thriving. Then a sort of logic takes over, and you say, there must be more to this. I must have done something at a time that I don't remember, and I'm still paying for that. Now, that's sort of logical, isn't it, under those conditions? Or what about someone who has been taught that if you keep these rules, you'll thrive, and if you break them, you won't, and you break them? Then you're in a place of expecting negative compensation for having broken the rules, and when it comes, it confirms your negative, and from our point of view, irrational belief that you are being punished for breaking a rule. When you're not being punished for breaking a rule, you're getting what you expected. You see, you're getting what you practiced the vibration of. So no one can even begin to make sense of their own life experience until they understand that they are source energy in a physical body, but that while they're in this physical body, the source energy part still exists. And if you can make yourself understand that these two powerful, vibrating aspects of you are always having a relationship with one another, and your dominant intent is about this relationship between you and you, now you've got it figured out. Now you can dovetail with karma, or whatever you want to call it. You can dovetail with the whole of who you are. It makes sense in a karmic sense. It makes sense in a religious sense. It makes sense in a non-religious sense. It makes sense in a scientific sense. It makes sense in a physics sense. In other words, the laws of the universe make sense. And when you find a way that you can make them work for you, now you've got control of your experience, and now you've got a joyful life experience, and now you're fulfilling your reason for being, because it's all about joy and expansion, and now it's all working for you, you see. And then it doesn't bother you when other people talk about karma in a screwy way. It doesn't bother you when other people talk about religion in a screwy way, or drugs in a screwy way, or politics in a screwy way. Because the fact of the matter is, there's so many people talking about so many things, and almost none of them see it just like you do. So if you're looking for satisfaction by finding a group who agrees with you, then you're looking for love in all the wrong places, because they're fickle. They might agree today, but they won't tomorrow. You see, you've got no consistency to your guidance. But when you get hold of your emotions and you know what they mean, and you care about how you feel, and so you deliberately and consistently guide yourself into alignment with who you really are, then your life just works for you. No matter what the subject is, or no matter what aspect of your life you're focused upon.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting that you would say that, because when I was younger, I broke all the rules, all the laws, did all the drugs, and everything went my way. I mean, literally, everything went my way.
Because, mother,
seriously,
you had the good fortune of not being made to believe in the wrongness of your behavior. So you didn't split your own energy. In other words, if you can make your children feel guilty, you've managed to separate them from who they are.
Oh, they tried.
Let's stay there for just a minute. If you can make your children feel guilty, you've managed to separate them from who they are.
Right.
Because you cannot make their inner being feel guilty. If you could make their inner being feel guilty, they wouldn't feel guilty, because they'd be residing with their inner being. And guilt is feeling some way different than their inner being feels. Oh, that was really good.
Really good. But they tried to make me feel guilty. I mean, I was brought up really in a religious family, and all that stuff was bad, and I just wouldn't let them. I really, absolutely, under no circumstance.
So as we hear you here, rather than a sort of defiance about their wrong-headedness and what they were trying to get you to believe, what your inner being feels is appreciation, because they did the best they knew how to do. Mm-hmm. And through the process, you just sent more rockets into your vortex, gave yourself much more opportunity to expand, and when you came into alignment, you were a whole lot better for it.
And look where I am now. Right? Sitting here in front of you.
Well, we say that
totally happy.
We say that to everyone, that where you are is a byproduct of what you have lived. And that is the best reason of all to appreciate everything that happened, because it has led to this powerful point of understanding. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.